So I want to start off with my history with um the paranormal and everything. So my whole life I've always had um experiences. N- I didn't have my first extraterrestrial contact until I was 13 or 12 or 13. But when I was younger than that, I was having experiences with ghosts and shadow figures, and um my very first experiences were at a around 3 or 4 years old. I was seeing my grandmother who had passed away. I was so young that I didn't know that she had passed away. I thought that she was there in my life, and was confused when other people couldn't see or hear her. And then later on in life, I when I was older, I realized that, or I was told that she had already passed away by then. So I was having a relationship with my grandmother, and I was telling my mom all these things that I shouldn't have known because she was already passed. Um, so yeah, so my whole life I've had experiences like that. Um, when I got a little bit older, I started seeing shadow figures, and one of the ones that I seen is what people called the Hat Man. Um, I had a couple different sightings of the Hat Man. Um, so I think a lot of this has to do with I was premature. I was born 2 months premature. I came out blue. I was not supposed to make it. I would had to stay in the hospital for months afterwards. Hooked up to tubes and stuff. My mom said that they wouldn't let her bring me home for a couple of months because of all the problems I had. Um, so I think that me being born like that is what opened me up to a lot of this. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip because this session isn't about ghosts and all that. So I'm gonna skip to um when I started having the owl the owl experiences. Um, so ever since I was little, I would have these experiences with owls. Just seeing them everywhere, hearing them everywhere. My first major experience was when I think I was like 7 or 8. Me and my brothers went camping in Virginia, the Chesapeake Bay area. It was actually Matthews County, Virginia. We owned acres and acres of woods, and me and my brothers would just travel deep, deep back in these woods, and we would find places to camp, and we would make like clubhouses, and there was this old abandoned village back back in the woods. There was like houses with trees growing through them, and cars, like old cars from um like the old Fords, the crank up cars, just abandoned back there. So we made a camp spot back there in this old village one night, and as it got later and my brothers fell asleep, I was sitting outside of the tent on a log, and I heard an owl, and I was looking around trying to find it, and it flew and landed on a branch about, I would say, maybe 10 foot high in the tree, and it just stared at me. It didn't make any noises. It just stared right into my eyes. And this is the first time I ever had any type of missing time or anything. So as it was staring at me and locked eyes, I fell into like a trance. Like I just could not look away. And next thing I know, my brother is like shaking me. He's like got his hand on my shoulder and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just looking at this owl." And I pointed, and it was gone. It wasn't there anymore. And I guess I was sitting there, locked eyes with this thing for hours, and didn't realize that I was sitting there that long. I It felt to me like maybe 20 minutes. And then ever since that happened with that owl, um, I started hearing and seeing them more often everywhere. Um, the second big experience I had was I was in my room one night, same area, Virginia, and we had this big. We lived in a trailer. It was like a double wide trailer at the time, and in our bedroom, me and my brothers, the bedroom took up the whole back half of the trailer, and there was this big bay window. It was pretty much the whole wall was just a window, and there was a windowsill that went out uh, maybe about a foot and a half. So we would set potted plants on the windowsill on the outside. Well, one night an owl landed on that windowsill outside, and again it stared at me, locked eyes. I don't know if it was the same owl or not, but it again after locking eyes, um, I fell back into whatever it was doing, a trance or whatever, and lost more time just staring at it. And it became a thing that I started getting used to was these owls. I would hear them everywhere. We had ended up moving from Virginia to a small island off the coast of North Carolina, and um, one night we were camping again on the beach, and had an owl land on me. It like came down and it landed on my shoulder for like maybe 2 seconds and then flew away. And when it touched me, even though like I said, it only touched me for like maybe 2 seconds, but when it touched me, I felt like a it's kind of hard to explain. It was like an electric like energy flow through my body, and I just felt wide awake. I felt like I just ran a mile. Like it took a lot out of me. I was breathing hard. Thought I was having a panic attack, and my brothers thought the same thing. They thought that I was scared because it landed on me and I was having a panic attack. But really, it was just so much energy that went through me that it caused me to um just caused me to I can't really explain it. There was just so much energy. Um so we ended up moving from that island to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And this is when I had my first extraterrestrial experience. I was and we had a house that was an old rec center, old recreational center. So we had a swimming pool that was like halfway in the house and halfway out. And there was a big 12-foot wall that surrounded the swimming pool. And there at the very end of the wall, there was a door that led outside. Well, one night I was home alone. I was swimming in the pool, which I wasn't supposed to. We had rules not to not to swim if my parents weren't home, just in case anything happened. Um, I had to. Um, it's kind of embarrassing, but I had to use the bathroom, and I didn't want to go through the house soaking wet, so I went out that back door at the very back end of the wall. And when I went, I opened the door. I stepped about maybe 10 feet away from the house, in a field, a big open field, just as right beside Fort Bragg. Um, if when you walk out that back door, about a good maybe 30, 40 feet away from the house wasn't trees. It was like, I wouldn't say forest. It wasn't that thick of a wooded area. You could probably walk through it in maybe 2 minutes of time, but it was um, real thick with trees and vines and bushes. So when I walked out of that door, I looked, after I used the bathroom and all that. I seen this flash of light. It was like a bluish white flash of light, and I looked up and I seen this tall being, long neck. There's pictures that I drew of it in the group. I'll post them again later today. Um, but it was a tall being with a long neck and a small little head. It was wearing kind of like a, back then I called it a dress. It kind of looked like a dress, but now that I look back on it, I think it was a robe. But this being was standing there. We locked eyes. It didn't say nothing to me. It didn't move. It just stared at me, kind of like the owls did. And what seemed like a long time had passed, but it was really just 5 minutes. Like, we only locked eyes for like 5 minutes. And when it when it went away, it didn't like float away. It didn't walk away. The way I describe it is the old box TVs, when you would turn the knobs to turn the channel off or turn the TV off, the screen would kind of collapse in on itself to a little dot in the middle of the TV, and then the dot would go away. That's how it, when it disappeared, it collapsed in on itself into a little dot of light, and then the dot of light stayed there for maybe 30 seconds, and then the dot just disappeared. And I wasn't scared. Um, it, it, I wasn't afraid. It didn't. I was more curious and more like excited, and just didn't know what to think about it. When my parents got home, I tried to tell my parents about what I seen, and my brothers and my sister, and nobody would believe me. And after about a few months of me talking about this, my my parents wanted to send me to a a psych hospital. They thought I was crazy, and because I wouldn't stop talking about it, um, they thought that there was something wrong with me, and maybe schizophrenic or something. And because of that whole experience, um, being put on meds and having to go to the hospital and talk to counselors and all that, because of that whole bad experience, I just quit talking about it altogether. I just would not bring it up. I was just afraid of what people would do to me if I kept talking about it. So I just kept it to myself. But because of that experience, I got way deeper into the paranormal, and I started. And this was like, I was like 13 years old when this happened. So I started to research everything I could. Would go to the libraries, check out as many books as I could on extraterrestrials and ghosts and all that. And that's what got me into what I do today. I'm a paranormal investigator today, or these days. So I drew a picture of what I seen, and I kept it for all these years. So that was my first experience. I don't think that this being had anything to do with what I am experiencing nowadays. I've never seen that being again. I've never it's never came up again. I don't know why it showed itself to me. I don't I don't understand why it just looked at me and then disappeared. But the interesting thing is it happened right next to Fort Bragg, and there's another guy. He's in our group, Christopher Bledsoe. He actually had an experience in Fate. Well, he's had a lot of experiences, but one of the experiences he had in Fayetteville, North Carolina, um, was a lot like what I seen. And when I had my experience, I had no idea who Chris was. I didn't know about his experiences until I don't know, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. But so I'll flash forward to um, when I started getting when I started to get contact from the being known as Atswa, which is the female being. It happened 3 years ago. I was, or a little over 3 years ago. I was sitting in my backyard meditating. Um, I was trying to astral project, and I heard my name called, and I thought it was my wife at first. So I was looking around trying to see who it was, and nobody was there. But it was a female voice, and I believe that this was the first contact from Atswa. Um, well, I know now, but anyway, so when she started to contact me at first, it was very, very like little attempts. It was like I said, the first time it was my name. Um, Weeks went by, I didn't have any other experiences. Weeks went by, and I started to see her, like what she looked like. I was having dreams of her. When I would meditate, I would have visions of her, and she started to talk to me more, asking questions about um, who I was, um, why I was trying to make contact, and just I guess trying to get a feel of of what I was doing. I guess um, in the beginning, when she first started to actually open up to me and tell me things, she seemed very mean and strict. And when I would tell people about how she was acting, people would tell me, "Oh, I wouldn't try to keep making contact with this being. It might be a demon. It might be something bad." But I felt in my heart that there was no evil, there was no bad at all in this being. I Even though she was acting mean and strict, I didn't feel unsafe, or I didn't feel like anything bad was going to happen. Um, so when she would start to tell me things, she wouldn't tell me who she was at first. It took me a whole year to get her name. Um, she wouldn't tell me anything about her, but she would start to go into details um about our planet. One of the first things that she did after opening up to me was she would show me visions of Earth, two separate visions. One of them was a very bad future. Um, it was the way that she said was this is going to be the future if people of Earth don't change, and it was a very negative. It was like kind of like the remnants of a nuclear holocaust. It was everything was burnt, buildings were crumbled over. Um, the air was just smoke. People were running around, attacking other people and robbing other people, and there's bodies everywhere, all over, stacked up. There was mass graves being dug. It was bad. It actually made me cry after getting that vision. It made me very upset. And then the second vision of what the future would be if we did change, and um, if we all got together and opened up our eyes and our hearts and started working together, the future would that she showed me, the good future, was um all green. It was nice, sunny, green plants everywhere, trees everywhere, futuristic looking buildings and vehicles, and um, just no wars, nobody fighting, and a very very beautiful future. Um, so after seeing these visions, I started wanting to know more about what I could do. Why did she contact me? What was I supposed to do? And she, like I said, she was very she in the beginning she didn't like me asking questions unless it had to do with what she was talking about at that moment. So a lot of times when I would ask her questions, I would not get answers, or at least I thought that I wasn't getting answers. She would always um talk in like riddles, and she would show me clues, but she wouldn't come out right and tell me the answers to my questions. So I was getting very upset of why she wouldn't tell me her name. She wouldn't tell me, where she came from. She wouldn't answer my questions. And it came down to what she wanted from me. She was testing me. She wanted to make sure that I was taking all of this seriously. She wanted to make sure that I was um that everything she was telling me, that I was fully understanding it. Um Anytime I would try to talk about her to groups over the internet, like something would happen where my feed would cut out, or when I would try to film our um when I would try to film myself contacting her, the camera would always turn off right when something would happen, or it just the feed or the video would be corrupted. She didn't want me talking about this information to anybody until I fully understood what she was telling me, and she was stopping me from. I mean, unless you were face to face with me, there was like she was stopping me from putting this information out. And now I understand why. I mean, back when it was happening, I was getting upset, but now I understand why she was doing it. Um, so around this was all around like the first year of her making contact with me. I At the end of that first year is when I finally got her name, and when I asked her where she was from, she started to. Well, one of the main things she said was, if you if you find the owl, you'll find me. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay. And this is the connection between her and these owls. My whole life having these experiences with owls, I know that it had to do with her. So I started doing a lot of research into um into these owls and trying to figure out what she meant. Find the owl. Am I still on? Oh no.
No, you're still on.
Oh okay. For some reason
We can hear
I
you.
thought it logged me off. So yeah, so I started doing researches. I started to do researching into all these owls, like ancient depictions of owls. And if you look up at the screen on top, um, I kind of put together a little slideshow. Um, I started to see these depictions of owls go way back to caveman days. Um, Tabitha, can you hear me? If you want to start,
Yeah, yes. We're on slide 1 right now.
yeah, if you want to start going through the slides, just very
Oh,
slowly.
just tell me slide 1, 2,
All right,
3.
slide 2. So you can just the next. I'm trying to think how many. Hold on, let me look.
There's 33. They're in order.
All right, so these owls that I started to find, these date like the ones you see right now. That's a Native American depiction that was found in a cave. The ones before it were one of them was another Native American. That one right there. Um, Egypt had a lot of different depictions of owls. Um, just all over the world. Like I started to see all over the world. There's different. Um, there's all these owl depictions. So I started to think, well, there has to be something here. There has to be something with these owls. And I was thinking, well, what does she mean? Find the owl, find her. And so I went on Google and I started to Google all of these ancient owl depictions. And what I stumbled on, which would be in the slide later, was um a cluster of star. Where I don't want to talk about that yet, but um
Can you see what I'm showing? The slides. I'm just going back and forth with all the different historical owl
yeah,
pictures.
just keep going through those
Okay.
just so, until you get to.
This is the Egyptian one.
Yeah, that's the Egyptian one.
Okay,
There's
next
a
one
few
is,
different Egyptian ones.
yeah, there it is. Okay.
And then there's some from uh
Ooh, where's that from?
um I think that's also from Egypt.
Oh, wow.
There's some from ancient Samaria.
Okay.
Um there's
Samaria. That looks Sumerian.
I think that's from um yeah, that might be Akkadian or Babylonian, one of those two.
Right.
Which was, two civilizations that came from Samaria. Um,
So I think that
Then
one
you got
is
ancient Greek. I think that one was from Greece.
okay. Okay, so this one's next one here. Oh, this one.
That's also from Greece. Somebody said that they can't see anything.
Can you guys
Yeah,
see
that
that?
was me. I don't see anything, and I've been having a whole bunch of stuff happen to me with owls recently. I would love to see that.
Gosh, can you see it? Dee, can you see the presentation?
Yeah, I
I'm
can
able
see
to
it.
see it.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Alina, maybe get closer to your router because it's presenting right now.
I'm on my phone. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out later. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what's this one, Josh?
those are just different like different owls from like Africa, some Mayan, um,
Oh, what's this
just
one with
just all
triangles?
over. I have to go back and look, but I think that might be one from Africa.
Oh, that one.
That's another one from Greek.
Okay. All right, this one. Oh, okay.
And that's so that's Anana, which is a Sumerian um Anunnaki goddess. And if you notice, there's the two owls on either side of her, and she's even depicted. If you look at her feet, she has the feet of an owl,
Mm,
and she has wings, and she's even depicted. She has a couple different names, but she's depicted sometimes as an owl.
okay, next one.
And then I started to realize money. Um, on money, there's owls. That's a coin from um Greece. It's Athena, and the owl is named um it's on the tip of my tongue.
The goddess,
Minerva.
um, weapons.
The owl is named Minerva.
Ah,
So then on the $1 bill, there's an owl hidden on the $1 bill in the corner. And I've looked on dollar bills; it is there. You have to get like a magnifying glass.
yeah, it's right there. Cool.
Then on the $2 bill, if you fold it a certain way, there's another
Ah,
picture of the owl on the dollar.
right there. Hmm. Okay.
Then on the $2 bill, if you fold it a certain way, it also makes an owl. So I started
Wow,
to
I see. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
think, like, what does all of this have to do with her? The Bohemian Grove is a place where a bunch of rich people and elites, presidents from all over the country, all over the world, they all meet at this place called the Bohemian Grove. Nobody knows what they do there. It's all secret. But
Mm.
one of their symbols is an owl, and they do a ritual called the sacrifice of care. And when they do this, they do it in front of a big owl statue. Um, there is footage of them doing this, and
What does
there's
that mean?
pictures.
Weeping spiders come not here.
I don't know. Like I said, it's all secret.
Mm.
But like every president has been there, and they hang out with other leaders from. There's the big owl that they do Um, there's pictures of like people who are supposed to be enemies sitting at the table beside each other laughing. Um,
Yeah, me
there's
no like this energy. Me no like it.
so
Uh,
I started to, like I said, started to wonder, and then the paranormal. Um, there's a lot of owls in the paranormal. When people, a lot of people who have got abducted, have experiences with owls. Um,
messengers. Okay. Do you want me to keep going, Josh?
um, yeah, just stop right there for a second.
Okay.
Sorry if this is all over the place, but
No,
I
it's
just
fine.
wanted to I just wanted to add in all this owl stuff because there is a connection there. Like I said, people who have ET experiences, a lot of them will have experiences with owls. Um, or when they try to think back on what they saw, for some reason, it'll be an owl, or just yeah, it's just weird that there's all this stuff with owls that date all the way back to like the beginning of civilization. So
Should we go to the next slide?
yeah, you can go to the next slide. So this was a download that I got, um, or not one download. It's a couple of downloads, but there's some other things on here that still do not know what it means, but a few of the things I figured it out. So the little W looking thing, um, I found out later on that is Cassiopeia. That is what Cassiopeia looks like. Like if you look outside and see it from Earth, it looks like that without the lines. So the the numbers in a triangle in the very corner, I still don't know what that means. I'm still trying to work that out. The little lines above on the top, um, I still don't know what any of that means. It kind of looks like some type of language or something. I don't know. But the three triangles beside each other, I originally thought that that meant pyramids, the three pyramids in Egypt, the Great Pyramid and all that. Um, I have come to learn now that it doesn't have anything to do with the pyramids. It actually represents three stars, three made like suns, um, which you can find in Cassiopeia. There's a lot of different suns in Cassiopeia, but there's three of them that are close together. The big circle with the dots on the side, um, represents a planet, a certain planet. Um, Not a real planet. It's a man-made. It's an artificial planet. The two dots on the bottom, the black dots, represents two planets that are in Cassiopeia that are both dead planets. And I'll get into what all of this means. Um,
Next slide.
so yeah,
Oh, it's upside down. Sorry about that. Let me check this out. Sorry, you see. You sent it to me that way.
oh sorry. So
Very
Cassiopeia.
sweet.
Um, when I realized what that little W zigzag thing was, when I realized that it was Cassiopeia, I started doing research into what's there, if there's planets, if there's you know how many planets, if there's suns, and there there's a lot of different planets and a lot of suns. I think there's like 25 different planets scattered out throughout Cassiopeia. Um, so I
Next slide.
asked,
There we go. There we go.
I asked Atswa, what does Cassiopeia have to do with her? Is that where she's from? And I didn't get an answer. So when I was looking up all these owl pictures in Google, I came across this picture right here, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks like an owl, that star cluster. And so I started doing research on that. Where is this place? Um, it turns out, oh, it turns out that this owl cluster is actually in the Cassiopeia. It's right up under it. It's part of that constellation, which there should be another picture that shows exactly where it's at. There's an outline of what I think looks like an owl to me, and it's actually called the owl cluster. I found that out, that it's called the owl cluster, and I think the next picture shows exactly where it's located. So that little yellow dot with the 547, that's where the owl cluster is. So after putting all of this together, and it took me like almost 2 years to put all of this together, I asked her if I was on the right path, if you know, and then when I found the owl, I knew that I was on the right path, and I knew that that's what she was meaning. Find the owl, you find. Sorry, people keep popping in. Find the owl, you find me. So I knew right away that I found where she's at, where she's located. Um, and there's another picture that shows where the owl cluster is. So after finding this information, I went back to her and confirmed that this is where she's from. This is a picture that I did of what Atswa looks like. So after I found out where she is from, she started to open up to me about about the history of her time. And I'm still going through this to this day. Because I just pieced all this together about 2 months ago. So all of this information is new to me. But because I found out where she's from, she started to open up about her, the history of her people.
Name.
What's that?
The ghost box just said name. Well, you were talking about her.
Oh yeah. So she told me that her people are her species is the same as us.
Evolution. It said evolution. Sorry, it's ghost box.
That's funny. That's what I was about to say. Her species is the same as the human species, just more evolved. They have reached a point where they can travel. They can they don't even have to use ships to travel. They can just pop up. They can like teleport. So the history is is of her people is there was once in the Cassiopeia constellation. There's one sun that has 7 planets or eight planets, and at one time there was
Oh, shit.
at one time there was 2 planets side by side, one with her people, and the one that was closer to the sun was a different species. I haven't found I haven't she hasn't shown me or told me what the species was yet, but they worked together. There was no wars between them or nothing. They were all friendly. But over time, the planet started to um like the first planet started to have a bunch of catastrophes like floods, quakes, um, just the ozone just depleting, and they her people they tried to help that planet, but they wouldn't do anything about what was going on. They didn't want to help. They just pretty much let the planet die, and they knew um, that their planet was going to be next in line because they started having some of the same problems as the first planet. So they decided that they weren't going to just sit around and do nothing. They decided to build an artificial planet, which is in the now it sits in the out cluster. Um, so so when the planet started to die from floods and quakes and other natural disasters, um, they like I said they knew their planet was going to be next, so they got to work on building their planet, and it's kind of like a big ark, like a big Noah's Ark. They took a lot of the animals and plants from their planet, and they put it inside the artificial planet, which I have a drawing. I meant to put it up, but I forgot. The artificial planet is like a big shell. Um, they live on the inside of it. The outside is like a big ball. If you ever seen Star Wars, it kind of looks like the Death Star, just a big ball with windows. There's like on on the top. I don't know if it's the top or the bottom, but on one half of the planet, there's big, huge windows that go all the way around it. And what they do is they harvest energy from the 3 suns. Um, they harvest it and they use it to run this planet. They use it for their own artificial sunlight. Um, pretty much just to power their planet. Um, so when she started telling me all of this, I wanted to know more about, is this what their people are trying to do for us? And that's when she started to tell me about, what their mission is for us, like what they want. So for them to help us, for one, and like pretty much I'm just gonna sum up what she told me. So for one, we all need to open our minds open-mindedness. We need to embrace each other. We need to come to um, realize that we're not alone in this universe, and we need to be open to these encounters. We need to challenge our conventional understanding. Um, let these beings in. We need to realize that they're not here to harm us. They're not here to take over our planet. Um, her people are in. They're all teamed up with other races, other beings from all over. They want to help us preserve Earth because they see warnings of what's going on in our Earth that's happened to their planet and the planet, the two planets. So they want to help us not. They want to help us stop that from happening. They want everybody to wake up and open their eyes and um, take environmental stewardship seriously. Um, like I said, unity and understanding is one of the biggest things that she's talked about. Um, before they share with us everything that they know and to help us, they want to make sure that they're not wasting their time and that we understand what's going on with our Earth and what's going to happen if we don't step up. Um, they want us to know the importance of unity and to comprehend and address our global challenges. Um, they see that our us humans are not that far away from reaching. Um, they see potential in us to that we're not that far away from reaching this. I'm trying to find the words. I'm sorry.
It said voyage while you were talking.
That's funny. Um, they pretty much they want us to take all of this seriously before they help us, before they waste their time on us. Um, they want
Josh
us to take.
said evolution, such voyage while you were talking.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So, um, I forgot what I was saying. Oh so like I said, I just reached this point of communication with her about all of this. So I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still working with her on figuring out all of this. But what I do know is that they are her people and other races throughout everywhere pretty much. They see what's going on with our planet and they see that if they don't step in and help us, then we're not gonna change. We're not gonna help ourselves. But they're afraid to step in because of what's going on with um, governments all over the world threatening to shoot them out the sky or start wars with them, and so they're at a standstill right now. There's until we realize that they're not a threat and they're not here to harm us or take over our world, and there's really nothing they can do except for contact small groups of people and try to have these people work for them to open the eyes of everyone. Um, yeah,
Josh, Josh, it's 12:15. I want your wife to get mad at you. It's your anniversary. Do you want to do some Q&A for the group? So that
uh, yeah, we can do that. I'm sorry if everything didn't make sense.
dude, dude,
It's real hard for me to talk in groups like this, but I'm really working on getting better at it.
you did great, Joshua. You just gave me a headache with all this information. So that's a good thing. So if you guys want to ask questions to Joshua, raise your hand so that we could be like uniformed. Or just ask. Oh, there, Sasha.
Hi, everybody. So thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for sharing all that. That was amazing. And while you were speaking, I had my eyes closed most of the time, and I was just trying to tune into what you were saying and actually picturing it for myself too, so that I could be on the same wavelength with you. And the message that I kept getting was that we need to raise our vibration. And that's from everything from what you eat physically to what you say to what you subject yourself to on a daily basis. And one of the she's on a very high vibration. I kept hearing this almost like a buzzing sound when you were speaking, and it reminds me of that Star Trek episode where the aliens come on board the ship. I don't know if anybody remembers this one, and they're at such a high vibration that when they speak, it sounds almost like bees buzzing. And no one can see them or hear them because they're moving so quickly on the ship. And that's the sound that I kept getting when you were speaking. Um, so that told me that that's my signal for high vibration. And that was the answer that what can you do personally on today, right this moment, to take action? Raise your own vibration. That was the message. Just relaying it.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
that makes a lot of sense too. And um, one of the things I wanted to say is her people that they're not like they're not like in a dimension where we can't see them or nothing. They just, but they are in a higher dimension where they can, and I think they do it through vibration and sound, where they can move their bodies anywhere they want to without using a ship. Like they don't have to necessarily use a ship to travel. They can just picture a place and be there. One of the experiences I had 2 months ago, or maybe a month and a half ago, and only a handful of people know about this. Um, I was setting up to meditate and to contact. I actually messaged Diana that night and said, "Oh, I'm getting ready to contact, to try to contact Atswa." And that night, as I was meditating, um, next thing I know, I'm in a room with Atswa and 8 other beings around a table. Um, they were all discussing things that I couldn't really understand, but she pretty much introduced them to me. She called me the link. She said, "This is the link." And I'm still kind of foggy on everything that happened while I was there. But when I came back, um, when I was brought back, and I'm pretty sure that my body, I was physically there. I wasn't like astral projection. I'm pretty sure I was physically there. And when I came back, I got super sick. I was throwing up. I just lightheaded. My stomach, everything was in pain. And when I was talking to a few of the admins, one of them, Jan, said that my experience sounded a lot like um, a person that she knows who teleported, and she thinks that that's why I got sick afterwards, because my body just wasn't prepared for that high vibration and all that. But yeah, I think that us raising our vibration and everything is very important and is key to one of the key things that we need to do to move forward.
Agreed.
And
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions?
Can I just say something? Joshua, you did a great job with your presentation, and I myself have been seeing owls. I don't know if I recently purchased this owl because it reminded me of that. But I've been having owl experiences since I was a child. And about 2 months ago, but around the same time that you said that you started putting this owl thing together, is when I started seeing an owl in my house. But this is a daytime owl, not a nighttime owl. I
Oh,
guess they call them burrowing owls, which I didn't know. I thought owls occur at night, but I was learning about owls, and then all of a sudden I started seeing owls in commercials. I'm not kidding you. Owls on the floor, like the hardwood floors, how they make shapes. Sometimes they were looking like owls. I ended up getting this Picasso statue of an owl. Like YouTube commercials. What else? I mean, I was talking to people and they were mentioning the word owl in conversation. I mean, talk about synchronicity. Yeah. So, and I've had like weird things happen in relation to the owls. I had three beings up here in my room wearing white robes like you were describing. So what planet do you think they're from? The owl people. Because I had the three beings up here in my bedroom after I asked for healing. And the one in the middle was like the doctor, the one overseeing the entire thing. And they were kind of assessing me, but I was too nervous and they left because they told me telepathically that I cannot have fear and I have too much fear. And so,
yes, that's the big thing is they don't when a lot of these beings sense fear, they back away because they don't want you to be scared. So they back away until you're ready. Um, I don't like I said, since I just pieced all of this together with the artificial planet and the owl cluster, I just pieced all that together like maybe 2 months ago. So I'm still in the process of learning, the names of the planets, the names of what they call themselves, like their race. I don't know if they have a specific name. Um, I I'm working on getting all of that information from um Atswa. So hopefully soon I'll have more information about what they call themselves, what the planet. I do know that the planet that they are on now, like I said, it's not a real planet. It's an artificial planet that they made. Um, the the planets they were originally from, the one planet, I do know approximately where it's located. It's in Cassiopeia. Um, but like I said, because of all that information is new to me, I'm still learning as I go. So hopefully here soon I'll have more detail about what the names of the planets were, what the names of the people were, who the other beings were on the first planet, that were side by side. So yeah, we can all learn together, as it comes.
and according to Mike Cleland, the guy who wrote the book, The Messengers, they come as They're like, yeah, like they're like messengers, but they're like holograms. So they appear themselves as owls, but they're actually aliens. Because I ended up talking to a guy that sees them, like I've been seeing them. And I saw one in my patio, and he kind of looked at me like he did the head turning thing. I thought he was a chicken, and I'm like, what's a chicken doing here? You know, I have no trees by me, by the way. And I saw this owl looked at me like he was sneaking around. It was so weird, the weirdest thing. And then it turned the head like they do. And I'm like, oh, I'll be darned. That's an owl. That's not a chicken. I thought it was a chicken, but it was an owl. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Joshua,
yes.
Lola Muse has a question for you from the chat. She said, what was the name she introduces you as? Oh, okay. I guess you answered that already.
Oh yeah, she said she called me the Link. Link. So I don't know if that meant like the link, like I'm the link to them, to to her. Maybe that's what she meant, is that I'm the link from to her from Earth. I'm not sure yet. I'll ask more about that. But that's what I kind of think it was. But yeah, she called me the Link.
Lola responds to that answer. She said, the link. Yes, that's how I understand it. So very cool. Really quickly, I wanted to just talk what the ghost radar while you were in session. There was a lot of signals that came in with no translation, very strong signals. But what the word conversion said was, okay, a lot here. Okay, it said bad, forgot, branch, name, evolution, such, voyage. That's it. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Anybody else wanted to ask questions or say anything?
I think you guys should just talk. No one's raising their hands. So if you want to talk, just unmute yourself and then just ask away.
So do you think that if we see owls, we're about to be abducted?
I don't think so. I just and I don't think, I don't want people to think that every time they see an owl that it means something. It could just be an owl, but I think that the reason why they chose the owl is, one, because of the cluster, the shape of it, and two, because of what the owl represents. It represents, wisdom and um like when I was in school, you would see the posters of the owl with the graduation cap on and the glasses, and I just think that because of what the owl represents, and because, like I said, because of the shape of where they placed their artificial planet, and I think that the depictions of the owls throughout history, I believe, like I said, I'm just now learning this because I just pieced all this together. But my opinion is that they were leaving signs for us, that, or maybe other people had contact with them, which I'm sure. I don't think I'm the only person that these races contacting. I'm sure there's many of them, but I think that these depictions of owls are, um, maybe from other people in history who have made contact with them, or um, yeah. But no, I don't think that just because you're having experiences means you're gonna get abducted. But yeah, who knows?
Um, Joshua, Rick Marez has his hand raised. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, what part of the country are you in, Josh? Or, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right now I'm in Iowa, but I've moved around. I've been in Iowa for 12 years,
How long has this been
13
happening
years,
to you
my whole life.
since
Um, since
since
I
you
can
can remember?
remember. But I've lived, and it's weird because a lot of the places I lived were near army bases, like Fort Bragg, North Carolina. When I
Yeah.
lived on Oak Island, North Carolina, there's Sunny Point, which is our army base. I lived in Fort Lauderdale, Fort Pierce, Florida. Um, and then in Virginia, I lived in the Chesapeake Bay area. Um, but yeah, it's weird that a lot of the places that I've lived were near army bases. And then if you
So,
go and look up a lot of these places, like here in Iowa, I'm not too far from Lake Okoboji, which is a UFO hotspot. Um, when I lived in Chesapeake in Matthews, Virginia, that's another hotspot. Um, the places I lived in North Carolina, where it's just weird how like everywhere I've lived are either army bases or UFO hotspots.
yeah. So I'm in Texas, and a couple years ago, I started a C5 group. There's a gentleman that helped me start it. His name is Drew Delmer, and I was kind of hoping to get him in this conversation, but I couldn't get in touch with him today. Seems like every time we're around and we get a group together, we have a lot of sightings. Like, you know, people have these, and like that Skin Ranch thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Skinwalker
show.
Ranch.
Yeah, that thing. They're always like, "Well, we saw an orb." But that's for us when we see that, it's like, well, that's real common around here. And we see things like every time we get together, right? And I was just wondering if this is happening to everybody. The owl thing. My friend Drew has a pet, not a pet owl, but an owl that hangs around his house all the time. He sees it all the time, taking numerous pictures of it, and he's real bewildered about why this owl keeps visiting them.
Like, I think so. I have a lot of friends that are seeing owls recently, and I really think they're here. Like they are here. Like the aliens are here watching us. They are
Oh,
messengers.
oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm sure, and especially with the name that they gave you, Link. That's pretty heavy. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I've always felt that because I've seen things throughout my life too. I mean, I just turned 64, so for the past, I can remember 40 years back, I've seen things in the sky, and you know, that's why we started the group. And every time we get together, we see these things. And apparently, my buddy is getting a lot closer to them than I am. I've always been in technology, technology kind of a guy. And, I was just wondering how long you've been seeing these things. I mean, I guess you said your entire life.
Yeah, and since I started doing um I consider myself a paranormal investigator, and I started doing a lot of stuff about 15 years ago, buying a bunch of equipment and going out to not just haunted places, but um UFO hotspots and stuff like that. And yeah, the orbs and stuff. I got lots of pictures of orbs, different colors, different sizes. I don't believe that all of them are spirits. I believe that extraterrestrials can also show up as orbs. It's kind of like they're fading in and out of this dimension, and that's the only thing that they can show themselves as is a ball of light. Um, but yeah, my whole life, ever since I can remember, I've had not extraterrestrial experiences that started when I was like 12, 13, but before then I had a lot of experiences with spirits and orbs and shadow people and stuff like that. In
Yeah,
the hours.
I noticed too that since when we introduce people to this group, or we're together and we bring new people in, after we've shown them what we've seen, they start seeing these same things. And I'm wondering if it's just because now they've become more aware and start looking at the
Yeah,
sky
I
more
think
often,
that's what it is. Is
Yeah.
they become more aware of it, and maybe they're becoming more open minded about it and letting themselves be open to see.
Yeah, I really think we're in a part of our humanity's in an evolution phase where maybe it's time, I mean, the government's talking about it now, and it's starting to be real more mainstream. I really appreciate you
Yeah.
guys inviting me to join this chat. Thank you
No,
for that.
I appreciate you joining. I'm one of my main missions is to get as many people together as possible. That's why I created the group, and that's my mission is to open as many eyes as possible. So I'm glad you joined, and if you have anybody who's interested in this stuff, please invite them to join the group.
Is this you guys do this every Sunday?
No, but I am gonna start doing a weekly session on Atswa.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna each week I'm gonna focus on one piece of information that she has, because I have over 3 years of information that I just can't get to in one session, and my mind
Understood.
works. I'm autistic, and
Okay.
sometimes my mind just bounces around. But if I focus on one subject, I think that it'll be better that way. So I'm gonna start doing a weekly session where I just focus on one piece of the information and talk about that. So that way people can digest it easier, I guess. And
Yeah, please keep me in your loop. I'll make sure that Drew gets on with us next week. He's got a lot of stories, a lot more than I have. I mean, I can tell you about all the things that I've seen, but and even in my house too, I've seen some
please
things
do.
that
I
yeah.
tell everybody, please feel free to share your experiences in the group. I'm sure a lot of us would love to hear it, and might even have you know the same experiences to you know we can all
Yeah,
talk
there's some
about.
point that yeah, it gets to the point, sometimes you just got to step away from it because it gets kind of overwhelming. But I appreciate you guys inviting me to this group. Thank you. Please keep me on the invite. I'll definitely join.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Joshua, a quick thing. So I had so I have a feed right now that is live, and during your sessions, I saw two eyes in the sky. Um, but you'll be able to see it because I recorded it. So it's just really interesting, the flow. I don't call it synchronicities anymore. The flow. What's incredible. I do have one quick question for you. You were a blue baby. Did you feel that presence to pull you out on that side? And the reason why I'm asking is this: there's always an angelic with wings, okay? And historically, pulling you out, bringing you back, coming down, lifting you up. Can you tell us a little bit more about that blue baby thing?
I mean, I don't really know much of it because I was a baby, but just from what my mom told me is, yeah, I when I was born, I was 2 months premature. Um, my mom was also not taking care of herself while she was pregnant with me, which I don't want to go into details about that, but she was definitely doing things that you're not supposed to do when you're pregnant, and which I don't hold anything against her. It was a different time back then, but yeah, I was 2 months premature. I was very, very small. My mom said that she could place my head in the palm of her hand and my feet would go a little bit past her wrist. I was that small. I had to be hooked up to um like I don't know what they call it, the artificial lungs or whatever, the incubator or whatever it's called. My mom couldn't take me home from the hospital for a few months. I had to I was hooked up to all these different machines and tubes, keeping me alive. Um, I do think that I wasn't like if it wasn't for the hospital, I wouldn't be here. If it was any, you know, if she had birth outside of the hospital, I would have definitely have died. But I do think that because of the way I was born, it opened me up to to be more sensitive to this type of stuff.
Well, Joshua, you were in training. You were being prepared. So you know me, and I know you. You're still here. You're an incredible being. I like how your brain works. It's supposed to work that way, outside of those normal neural networks. You get to light up areas of the brain that some of us will never experience. So, how I feel, my history too. So I'm with you, brother. I'm very proud of you. I
Oh,
love you.
thank you. Does anybody else have anything? If not, I wanted to see if everybody would be willing to do a small meditation and send healing and love vibes to Kelly.
Absolutely. I'm all for it.
Kelly, are you still here?
Kelly, let me see. Yes, Kelly's still here.
Um, if everybody just wants to do like a quick, um, just think of her, send some healing vibes her way. She definitely needs it. Um, um, I can start us in on a meditation that I've learned from Atswa. If everybody wants to just listen and follow, um, I'll start that now. So get get comfortable in a comfortable spot. Um, close your eyes. Think about love, happiness. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Release. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Release. One more time. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Release. Now picture a bright light right in front of you. It can be any color, any size. Watch this light travel down towards your feet. When it gets to your feet, picture little strings of this light connecting to each of your toes. Let your toes, your feet, absorb this light until there's no more light. Now picture this energy, this light, moving up from your toes all the way to your heels. Now picture it leaving your heels, moving up through your calves to your knees, from your knees to your waist. Now watch as the light leaves your legs and enters your stomach, your spine. Slowly, the light moves up your body, up your spine, past your ribs, up to your heart. Now picture your heart taking in all this energy, glowing and growing. And think about all the happiness and all the love that you've ever experienced in your life, and all the love that you've ever wanted to share. And picture that light absorbing all of that, all of those memories into your heart. Now the light will leave your heart and travel up towards your head. Picture it going up, splitting into both of your eyes, and then from your eyes to your forehead. Now picture your forehead lighten up, glowing. And in the middle of your forehead, you see a little bump. You watch as that bump grows and the light gets brighter and brighter. Let it sit there and grow as bright as it can. Now I want everybody to think of Kelly. Say her name. Just think of her sitting there and try to focus, pushing this energy towards her. Picture it leaving your forehead, traveling towards Kelly. Picture it going into her body and breaking up into little particles flowing all over her body, all inside of her body. And picture those little pieces of light getting bigger and brighter. Picture Kelly lighten up as bright as you can imagine it. And all these little bits of light clinging to her body, filled with happiness and love, start to cling on to any bad thing in her body and starts to heal it. Now just sit and think about that for a couple minutes. Just her body glowing with all of this healing energy. Now, picture all of this energy leaving Kelly and going back into your heart. Picture a rope of energy, of light, connecting from your heart to Kelly's heart. Now take a deep breath, hold it, let it out. Again, deep breath, hold it, let it out. And one more time, deep breath, hold it, let it out. Now take your time and let yourself come out. And open your eyes whenever you're ready. As you feel yourself coming out, just let that rope of energy remain. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Thank you for that beautiful meditation for her.
Thank you all for coming today and listening to this. I will definitely be holding a weekly session to make more sense of everything. um, Thank y'all for doing this little meditation for Kelly. I know she really needs it.
Of course.
You know, Joshua, as we were doing the meditation, look at the sky right now. It changed these into these beautiful colors.
Yeah, I seen the purple and pink come in.
Yes, pretty powerful though. Healing is very powerful. Thank you for that. Sending that off to you, Kelly, love.
And if anybody has any more questions, I'd feel free to ask. I'll answer whatever I can. If not, then we can call this.
Oh yes, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, 12 years. 12 years
Okay,
married. I never
everyone
thought
have
that I
a
would say that.
great evening.
What's that?
I was just saying, everyone have a great evening and congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, Joshua, there's a few things I wanted to read. I don't know if you saw the chat. And I think Ashley did. Let me read what Ashley said here. A lot of 3D advanced species want to get in on the humanity evolution train, but due to quarantine, they must abide by certain rules and wait for a specific call. No doubt they'll probably get some dudes who use or try to manipulate their intentions, and that compromises their polarity. So I get why Atswa was very firm and guarded at first. The next one is also from Ashley. Owls are powerful spiritual totem and have a beauty and healing nature aside from having anything to do with transdimensionals. I happen to love barn owls, and their head rolls are so cute. LOL. That's from Ashley. And then Lynn Friedman says, thank you for that. Joshua Saylor. Amy Dreyer said, beautiful. Sasha says, thank you, Joshua. Lola says, thank you for sharing your experience. Happy anniversary. And Sasha says, bye, everyone. So I read everybody's chat there. So
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for the happy anniversary. My wife is probably about to walk in the door any minute from work, and we're gonna probably go out to eat somewhere. But I appreciate everybody coming today. It takes a lot for me to talk in groups like this. I'm working on it, trying to get better. But I do appreciate everybody coming and listening, and hopefully y'all
Joshua,
can.
you did
Yeah.
great. You feng shui, you flowed. It was great. You flowed so well that some of us flowed with you. So you did the non 3D flow. So at least for me, so it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. Do it again. Do that.
Yeah.
thing.
Like I said, I'm planning on doing a weekly thing about Atswa and all her information. And now that I'm able to share it, I'm looking forward to sharing it to as many people as I can.
Thank you.
All right. I guess, yeah.
Thank you. Please
Welcome,
keep
Rick.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. I hope you all have a good day, and definitely will let everybody know when the next session will be.
Thank
And
you.
Joshua, I'm going to send you an email to share the drive so you can upload it in the group's YouTube for both.
Thank you. Yes, definitely do that.
Okay, so I'm going to start recording now. Have a blessed day, you guys. Love you all. Kelly, love you, girl. Bye, Sandy.
Much love to everybody.
Much love. Bye,
Bye.
Dee. Tenacious D. Okay, bye.